Charlie Kirk was a racist, and I know you don't want to hear this. Charlie Kirk was very racist, and anybody that's black that supports him, you are a white supremacist yourself. Now, I'm not saying I agree with what happened to him because we do not condone that, and that is definitely something that we would not want to happen to anybody. Because just because he was a white supremacist don't mean what happened to him should have happened to him. But if you was to go to his top 10 videos of Charlie Kirk and black people, African Americans, the 10 videos is going to be him being critical of us. And him being critical of us is not the problem, so listen up. If you was to ever ask him, okay, you notice all these problems in the black community, what are you doing with your power, your influence to help solve these problems? That's what you got to think about. It's one thing to be critical and be trying to help the problems you're talking about. It's another thing to just be trying to paint people in a dim light. So what we're not finna do is act like he's a good person just because he's not here no.
I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. The Civil Rights Act was a mistake. More cops should be around your neighborhood. Why do blacks have a broken family? White person were to come up and say, you know, black America really needs to get its act together and stop sleeping around all the time and needs to actually have enough.
Why would you?
Because it's true. When blacks in America did not have the same rights they had today, they were less murderous, there was less break-ins. Black America is worse than it has been in the last 80 years. What percentage of young blacks have both a mom and a dad raising them? Of course we pander to blacks. They're in every TV commercial. And they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because of affirmative action? Things got worse since the Civil Rights Act. More violent.
Let's do it.
I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
All right, we've already addressed the whole black pilot spiel. Did it on my previous video.
So when you see a black pilot, you wonder, boy, is that person there because they earned it or because they were placed there? That's what DEI does. It makes you ask questions you otherwise would not ask.
The airline industry is going to take an unqualified person just based off diversity.
Underqualified, not
underqualified. Underqualified, whatever, uncertified, and put them in a cockpit and risk people's lives?
Those are two different things. Under and un are two different things. Of course, United Airlines will not take someone off the side of the street and put them into a pilot. But in order to reach a 40% goal, they might cut corners. They might accelerate the process in order to reach a goal. We know this through all sorts of DEI examinations and projects over the last 10 years. You have to choose in life. Either excellence or racial quotas will end up being the most important. And both cannot simultaneously.
Has nothing to do with race. It's solely due to DEI when employers select employees based on skin color and not merit, and that is the definition of DEI, meeting racial quotas, where a more qualified individual is skipped for a lower qualified individual due to DEI. And you have to be blind to not notice the rampant increase of DEI hires lately. Has nothing to do with being black, but I've already addressed this. On to the next, though. Kirk is against the Civil Rights Act. All right, let's get into that.
Do you support the Civil Rights Act?
In spirit, but not how it's written.
Why?
It's too broad and paved its way for the persecution. For example, they're using the Civil Rights Act to put men in locker rooms like Riley was in.
How? Which article?
Article 4 or 5, I think. I actually don't know specifically. But the Civil Rights Act is being used for by the trans movement right now because they say that they are women, therefore they demand an accommodation of women's rights. Riley can riff on this. They're using the Civil Rights Act literally to have access into female locker rooms.
So what would you change about the Civil Rights Act?
I wouldn't make it as broad. I would make it much more crisp and concrete, and I wouldn't have it necessarily I would also get rid of the disparate impact component of the Civil Rights Act. So the biggest problem with the Civil Rights Act, there's four components of the beast of anti-racism. There's affirmative action, DEI, disparate impact, and then, of course, there's a fourth that I'll remember in a second, which is basically disparate impact is that it must be racism if two different groups have different outcomes, which, of course, is outrageous. Disparate impact is the legal theory that undergirds most of the enforcement of the Civil Rights Act. And the Civil Rights Act also blazed the trail for disparate impact as a legal theory, basically saying that if black Americans are doing worse in a group, it might not be because of marital differences or cultural differences or single motherhood issues, it must be racism. And so because of that, the Civil Rights Act was too broadly written. So the intent, it should have been a single page or a two-page bill to say that you cannot discriminate against based on the color of somebody's skin, period, end of story. Instead, we get a multiple 100-page bill with lots of chapters and lots of lesser-known amendments that created basically a permanent anti-racist bureaucracy within our federal government to go find racism where it doesn't exist and create it in new places where otherwise did not exist.
Hey, Charlie.
How are you?
I'm good. How about you? So you're notoriously anti-Civil Rights Act.
Well, again, I explained that earlier. There's parts of it that were good.
Okay. I want to know what your idea for, like, not only black liberation, but, like, liberation for any type of minority that was protected through the Civil Rights Act, like, what your idea for that would be if it wasn't there.
Yeah, again, I said it earlier that the part of the Civil Rights Act that disallowed businesses from administering services based on race, that was a good part. The other parts that created this this ridiculously overreaching anti-racist bureaucracy was ridiculous, and now it's being...
Like what parts?
Well, for example, the parts that give us the enforcement on the Voting Rights Act, which says that So I'll give you an example. Merrick Garland recently said that states cannot have voter ID because it's a violation of the Civil Rights Act. So that's insane because the Civil Rights Act went as far to say not just disparate encounter, but disparate impact.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So
I get that.
So the impact goes too far for me. Now, for example, if you go to a Walgreens and someone says blacks shall not come in, that should obviously be illegal. But if it says that, hey, at Walgreens, black customers are stopped more for shoplifting than white customers, then they have come into stores, by the way, and big settlements have been paid because it's a violation of the Civil Rights Act, even though it turns out that the black shoplifters were like actually shoplifting more on average than white shoplifters. So disparate impact is very, very dangerous.
Okay.
And that's where the Civil Rights Act allowed us to go.
Just a little bit of research, man. Just a little bit of research, bro. It don't take much, bro. Y'all falling for the damn bullshit hook, line, and sinker, man. Yeah, I mean, people get triggered by him saying civil rights and just think it's black and white when he was talking about the flaws of how the Civil Rights Act was written. So maybe he should have worded it different, but it's not on him to word it. He said what he said. What he said was what it was. It's just people take these headlines, run with it, right? Civil rights ain't just about black and white. You know what I mean? It impacts much more than that. It impacts so much more than that the majority of people aren't even aware of, bro. You bring up civil rights, the first thing you think, if he's against the Civil Rights Act, that must mean he's racist. He must want us to go back to Jim Crow. No. And then, he doesn't like MLK. He doesn't like MLK, bro. First of all, he's allowed to not like whoever the hell he don't like. And this goes along of another similar video that I debunked when they run this narrative that he thinks black women are idiots when that never came out of his mouth. He spoke about particular women that happen to be black, but you can't criticize anything black. If you do, you're racist, bruh. And he's criticizing MLK for whatever his reasons were for it. That's his reasons for it. That don't mean he fucking racist. You know what I mean? If you knew a little more about MLK, there's things behind the scenes that they don't make available for everybody on face value. Everybody knows the mainstream narrative about MLK and what it represents. How dare you say anything negative about MLK? He can say whatever the fuck he wants. And he was supposed to be unveiling his information in regards to MLK that opposed the MLK narrative, man. But I don't think he ever got the opportunity to do that, man. But you dig a little deep, bro. Like MLK he was a reverend, but he wasn't faithful at all.
It's more important, the fact that Martin Luther King is the man that fought for freedom, or the fact that he was cheating on his wife?
Jesus, look at him, that strong black man. But you're cheating on your wife. You're not a good husband, but he's great in all these other aspects. How are you a great leader, a great black man? You're not great. You're not great. God, you're not. You're not a good dad because you don't respect me. How the you showing these kids you a good father and you don't respect their mother? You're not a great dad, my nigga. You're an okay human.
Martin Luther King Jr. make a Diddy party look like a Catholic convent school. It's a third world country and a first world country. The black community in these something like Haiti or worse. And it started out with Martin Luther King Jr., whose whole life was a Diddy party. Orgies and smoking and fighting and whipping up on women.
The thing that bothers me more about all of it, Tucker, is the prostitute. The orgies are bad, but when you buy flesh and you say you're a man of God, I mean, that's very visceral. They say he plagiarized his PhD, which means that he was a fake doctor. He walks around with these communists. Money from Moscow was bankrolled in the civil rights movement. He was getting money from Moscow to put in his pocket. It had gotten so bad that the FBI designated King an enemy of the state. And it's only about 5 or 6 people that have ever been had such designation in the United States of America history. They said that with this designation, even if they heard that somebody was coming to assassinate him, they wouldn't warn him. And that was a courtesy they would give to mafia dons. They would not give it to King.
Martin Luther King sold us down the creek because in other areas where black and white people did not have conflict, they coexisted together and black people built their thing and white people built their thing and black and white people joined to do great things together in places that were not segregated. But Martin Luther King sold us a lie of having the government be involved in desegregation. And forced desegregation caused envy and strife. And I think that hurt relationships between people more so than if people had a genuine response. Because not everybody in the Jim Crow South was sitting there with picket signs. It was a few places that were hotbeds for that type of a violent behavior, which is where Martin Luther King and others went, Birmingham and other places, so they can exploit the conflict. And this is the example that I often use, is that you have a main house and dog house. The black people were in the dog house, the white people were in the main house. Now, the black people had the entire backyard to work with. They had already built their house, put a little water system in there, made the yard look beautiful, put some plants over there. They were building and growing their own thing. And Martin Luther King-esque people, Marxist individuals, wanted the black people to abandon their guest house or dog house to get into the main house, when what they should have done was build their own house on the property and land that they had available to them. And once the houses were competitive enough, then they could mutually have a beneficial relationship. But what happened is black people abandoned their house to get into the main house. But in the main house, they weren't welcome in the main house. It was not easy to get to the main house. It wasn't always acceptable. You didn't have your own stuff in the main house. You were using drawers and beds and towels from somebody else, and you abandoned your own stuff. And when the towels weren't what you wanted, and the rules of the house wasn't what was beneficial to you and your people, when the history and the stories told in that house wasn't what the stories you want to be told, that ain't mad.
Don't matter. It's MLK, right? He never disrespected him. He never degraded him. He just said he doesn't support him. He said he's a bad person. That's his right to do. But like I say, you're not allowed to say anything negative about anybody black, especially when you're a white person. That means you got... What's next?
More cops should be around your neighborhood.
More cops should be around your neighborhood. Come on, man. First of all, like, this, the whole compilation, bro, like, if you're triggered by this, you just showing your IQ. You're an idiot, bro. This shit's it's like, and it's 13,000 likes, probably hella comments in here just dragging him through the mud, bro. It's like, bro, could have been in response to anything. Like, I don't even need to find that particular video, bro. It's like, yeah, you need cops in your neighborhood. You know, his neighborhood may be fucked up. You don't know who he talking to. You don't know what the storyline was. You don't know what the situation was, bro. Like, come on, man. Well, this idiots, bro. And that's the glaring thing about this, bro. But I'm going to say that shit to the end. Well, no, I ain't going to say to the end, bro, because y'all ain't going to fucking last that long, bro. It's like, this is really showing who you are when y'all just fall for the bullshit Bro, this rage bait angers you to the point to demonize a man to the extent of Hitler, bro, when that couldn't be the furthest from the truth. So you telling on yourself when you do this. Social media has everybody cooked. All these manufactured videos, all these manufactured narratives, taking these, bro, he said like 6 words, and they gonna put that in this compilation of videos with everything taken entirely out of context to give you a narrative, bro. So y'all telling on yourself in the process. Not only are you a goddamn demon, not only are you morally fucked up, but y'all are idiots too. Y'all are fucking idiots. And then it's just taking, you and me gotta take no steps outside of it, bro. It's like, this shit, bro got taken out because of it, and y'all celebrated it, dog. Y'all fucking celebrating it. Y'all still celebrating it. Don't take it upon yourself to do the fucking research, bro. And I'm not a Kirker, bro. It's how it makes us look as a people, that we have individuals, a mass of individuals, this bent by politics and social media, have been brainwashed and poisoned and metamorphed into fucking demons, bro. The sheep, bro. This sheep just getting played, bro. The Matrix, dog. Just show him this. Don't even need no context. Show him a couple 3-second videos, bro. He's out of there, dog. It's like a CIA op, bro. Real shit. Just they seeing how they can make the fucking mice move. It's crazy. Let's continue.
A white person were to come up and say, Black America really needs to get its act together and stop sleeping around all the time, and it needs to actually have
why would you?
Because it's true. When blacks in America did not have the same rights they had today, they were less murderous. There was less break-ins. Black America is worse than it has been in the last 80 years.
Like, bruh, society's cooked, and it's the entitlement of the black community where you're not allowed to state stats. How dare you state these stats that make us look bad? It's just the black community's inability to hold themselves accountable. They don't want to see the ugly truth, bro. All he spoke was facts, but since a white man saying that he's fucking racist, bro, those are fucking facts. That the last video comes from a Jubilee video, which I cannot give y'all a reaction to because they're gonna demonetize the video, man. But I invite you to go watch that video, man. They got like 35 million views where he's talking to that, like one of the woke liberals that don't make no goddamn sense. But all he does is just recite the stats, bro. Right? And he compares the black community's economic status compared to their economic status today. He compares the black nuclear family pre-civil rights compared to the black nuclear family today, which is pretty much non-existent. And he just states the facts. That's it. And then they have discourse into why do you think that is? And he allows her to answer why she thinks is that way. And she doesn't entirely come to agreement on black culture, man, but he proposed that as the variable of why the black community has deteriorated to the point it is right now, when they were thriving much more economically, family-wise, pre-civil rights, bro. But you can't say that, dog. It's racist to say that, man. He's not saying we need to go back to fucking pre-civil rights and take black folks' rights away so they can get their act together. He never said that, but that's how those dots are connected to make him look like a fucking racist, bro. He's trying to get black folks to hold themselves accountable and identify the fact that black culture is the reason. The music is the reason. Social media is the reason. Movies are the reason, where we glorify and promote and perpetuate the degeneracy that is prominent within the black community, where the Cardi B's, the fucking Sexy Reds, the bullshit you see all the motherfucking time that glorifies baby mamas, that glorifies deadbeat dads, that glorifies the separation of a nuclear family, that glorifies the hood, that glorifies gang culture, that glorifies hoes, that glorifies pimps, that glorifies crime, right? But we can't say that, though. We can't say that, right? Especially a white man can't fucking say that, bro. But, you gotta hold the fucking mirror up, man. Take him out. Took him out, bro. And the other video I can show y'all, man. Hold on, I got that one pulled up here. Where is it?
And so my whole belief is stop acting like you're a victim and start making better choices.
Not acting like a victim, whoa.
Respect.
This is not a victim mentality.
No, it fundamentally is, because white people are not out to get you. There's nothing. There is nothing holding black people back. Let me say that again. There is nothing holding black people back. In fact, the opposite. You can get into colleges with lower test scores.
But
you could say things that white people can't say and not be fired for it. Black people are wildly disrepresentation.
People say that to me all the time, and they just walk around like it doesn't mean anything around here.
Say what? Say the what?
The N-word. I'm not going to say it on this public platform, but people say it to me all the time.
The victimhood is crazy because his mind went to the N-word. That's not at all what the fuck Kirk was implying. If he wasn't even talking about that, you see his mind went straight to that. Racism, the N-word. Nah, bro. He talks about the entitlement the black community has. The things that they're allowed to do that white folks can't do, but the way black community sees it, black folks is oppressing. The white man control everything, dog. When y'all know damn well, bro, like black folks were allowed to be racist. We're allowed to be racist. We're allowed to do that shit because, what happened to us in the past gives us the right to shit on everybody else. And you expect the white people or whomever else just to fucking sit back and take it? Nah, and then Kirk don't even have that energy. He's just trying to empower black men, black people, period, to hold themselves accountable and realize what the fuck is going on, how much power you do have to remove yourself from this victimhood mentality and go be successful, go be great. But we're so prideful in the victimhood, bro. But I remember I used to be there. I used to take pride in that shit. Like, you don't know my fucking struggle, dog. What struggle you talking about, bro? Was you there when MLK got shot? Was you there picking cotton? But we wear that shit like it's fucking armor because the brainwash is crazy. But we take pride in that shit, though. It's an oxymoron. Like, you prideful in victimhood, dog. How weak is that, dog? The amount of animosity and just passion that the black community has of just the victimhood. You don't know our struggle and all this shit. Where there ain't no fucking struggle there. Most of it just been manufactured. If we were able to put that shit into something productive, dog. But y'all ain't ready to have that conversation. Y'all are not ready to have that conversation. Bruh, it's interesting that this is just one lane that Kirk get pressed on the racist shit, bro. Like, he held every group accountable, dog. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't no bias, no favoritism. He didn't have this energy for just one group. He held everybody accountable, dog. But, black folks, you better not say nothing about them. Especially if you white.
Say the what?
The N-word. I'm not going to say it on this public platform, but people say it to me all the time.
Derogatorily?
Yes.
No, I think you're lying.
Why would I be lying about
So you're trying to tell me at this campus, did you report it to student services?
I'm not. I have too much on my plate to worry about this.
So you're going to say at this campus, you're going to indict the moral character of Texas A&M.
I'm not indicting the moral character of Texas A&M.
Oh, yes, you are. You're saying that.
I'm indicting the moral character of one person or a few people.
Oh, well, now it's one. So you heard it all the time, and now it's one. Got it. So
it's not.
Come on, bruh. Come on, dog. That is the epitome of what I'm talking about, dog. I mean, you may have your little instances of racism throughout your life, dog, but what percentage of your life is literally, what percentage of your life as a black individual can literally be classified as racism that you can prove, like, tangibly, right? Like, I know, because he called me Nigger. He said black folks do this. He said black folks do that. Or is it just this narrative you created and you just think everybody out to get you? Bro said it was white folks calling him the N-word, but then it just came down to like one or two people, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, like, they may say Nigga just because it's in the music and they ain't got they trying to be cool, you know what I mean? But they can't even say that. That's racist as fuck. You're not allowing white folks to say Nigga when you throw that fucking word in their face all day, every day and say, no, you can't say that, bro. I don't give a fuck how cool you are. I don't give a fuck how long I know you. I don't give a fuck about the fact that I know there's not a racist bone in your body because you fuck with us, bro. But you say that goddamn word, can't fuck with you because of color of your skin. Who really racist, bro?
Okay, you're taking me out of context. This is the point, is that
I don't believe you because now you resort back to a race hoax to make it seem as if the white kids on this campus are like racist and terrible.
White kids.
Oh, so was it a black guy that said it to you?
I'm not.
It matters a lot.
because this is how lies are able to grow. Jussie Smollett, we see this. You have to challenge them head on.
Do you think I'm lying when I say that people say the N-word around here? And just
if I think a white person comes up to you derogatorily and says, shut up, N-word, I'm not saying
they said it.
I said, are they saying it derogatorily?
But that doesn't mean it's word for word like that.
But, okay, so then it's not an insult then.
Anytime.
So then don't bring it up as if it's evidence of racism.
Because you brought the N-word up first. I didn't.
No, I didn't.
No. You specifically said, name me an instance of the N-word.
No, I said black people.
Yeah, you brought it up. No, that's what your ass thought first. That's what you thought first.
Specifically said, name me an instance of the N-word.
No, I said black people can say things that white people can't say. Of course that's true.
But that's automatically implying that one word.
It's more than that. But let me just kind of build this out further.
What is it then?
There's a lot of things black people can say.
Explain it to me.
You want me to give you more examples of things? Yes. Black people are allowed to talk about black culture in a way that white culture cannot. For example, black people can go up and say that there's a baby mama problem in black America, and white people are not allowed to say that. Oh, I just did. So what are you gonna do? Cancel me? Black people are allowed to say. Black people are allowed to say.
I'm a grown man. I got way too much to worry about.
Black people are allowed to say that there is a systemic fraud issue within the PP loan application in black America. Black people are much easier to be able to say that black individuals, despite being 13% of the American population, commit 55% of the murders. If most white people say that at a job, they would get fired for being a racist. I don't care because I say whatever I want. So black individuals have much more intellectual public freedom than white people do. If a white person were to come up and say, you know, black America really needs to get its act together and stop sleeping around all the time, and it needs to actually have the not.
Why would you?
Because it's true. Because
why would you just walk up to someone and talk and attack their culture from the outside?
Well, hold on. Because hold on. Let's look at the evidence. You said to myself, you said there's all these people suffering in Chicago. There's all these people that are terrible. I'm telling you why. It's because there's been bad decisions that have been institutionalized. Let me finish. And rap artists and athletes and people at the top level of black society that refuse to ever challenge the core rot in black America, which is that they are allowing degeneracy and hedonism to eat the soul of what once was a beautiful black culture, and instead they go around saying it's the boogeyman of racism, the white man is out to get you, and the result is black America is doing worse than it was in the 1960s. That is the contention, period.
They killed that man. Celebrating that man's death, bro. If you come up here saying this man told any type of lie and call this man racist for making an observation, go jump off a cliff, dog. Y'all are the fucking problem, bro. Like I say, this has nothing to do with Kirk. This has nothing to do with Kirk. So I go so hard for this shit, bro. This has nothing to do with Kirk. This is all everybody else, bro. It's all everybody else, man. Afraid to look in the mirror, afraid to face your demons, afraid to take accountability. And this ain't just for the black community, bro. This is for all the trans, all these other minorities that feel attacked from Kirk for giving y'all a mirror to look at, dog. It's on y'all, because y'all are spineless, weak-minded, afraid to look yourself in the mirror. Nobody's, bro. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's, dog. Like, if you can't look yourself in the mirror and acknowledge your setbacks, acknowledge your failures, how the fuck can you ever expect to excel? Ever expect to win in life? Right? And we wonder why the black community is in the position it's in right now, bro, because motherfuckers don't want to have that conversation. And when we do have that conversation, y'all demonize the people that are holding y'all accountable. Coon, Uncle Tom, celebrated the man's death because he was telling y'all the truth. He's so brainwashed, man, but I'd wager the majority of the black community is going to relate to this man's perspective. And this is just one group of brainwashing. We got all this other shit, the libs, the demons, the trans, the gays, the whomever the fuck are just brainwashed to view their life as fact and their emotions as fact. And it's fucking terrible, bro. Anything else, bro?
Of course we pander to blacks. They're in every TV commercial.
Got you on that one. Where is that one? Of course we pander to blacks. They're on every, so 11 words.
So you feel like us as a society has pandered?
Of course we've pandered to blacks. They're in every TV commercial. They get more privileges to come into society. They come into every college on preferential with lower test scores. You can't ever say anything negative. You can lose your job. You will have your entire life obliterated if you say something racist. And yet we have to hear about how racist we are. How about you take responsibility for your own?
And then black folks are allowed to be racist. White folks' life will be ruined if they utter something racist, bro. It's not the other way, dog. Black folks are allowed to be racist. You got black folks out here that say it's impossible for a black person to be racist. You already know motherfuckers is cooked. You already know motherfuckers is cooked. If you out here talking shit about somebody because of color of their skin, or thinking differently because of color of their skin, demeaning them because of color of their skin, thinking you better than them because of the color of their skin, dog, that's racist, bro. That's racist, dog. But we in the era of changing definitions to words to fit our narrative, bro. But I'm gonna let Kirk cook.
Own actions instead of blaming the white man. That's not racist, that's noticing. How is it the white man's fault that black men started to abandon the women?
It's a bigger problem.
No, blacks need to take responsibility for the women that they impregnate, not blame the white man or racism.
Things affect this.
Why didn't it affect the Asians? Why did the Asians do so well? America got less racist and the blacks got poorer because we started to subsidize single motherhood and pandering to blacks, saying you do not need to stay around with the women.
Do I still got to keep doing this, bro? I'm gonna keep doing it though, bro. Cause I mean, the funny thing is though, man, the people that know are the ones that are gonna watch this, man. Like those that have already made their mind up, they cooked to the point where they ain't even trying to listen to the other side, man. Like you may get some open-minded people that are willing to entertain it and look into it and realize that they've been lied to and they're gonna feel like dog shit. I don't know how the fuck y'all gonna feel, bro, if you were out here once celebrating a man's death and then realized this man was telling you everything you need to know to place yourself in the best position to be successful, bro. But most are not gonna want to watch this, see this, man. But with that, if you get it and others that need to watch this video, send this shit to them so they can have, if they're gonna watch it, you know what I mean, and be awakened to what the fuck is really going on, man. But that's enough, bro. That's enough, dog. Kirk, Charlie accountability Kirk, bro. You know what I'm saying? Cuz trying to be out here coaching everybody and got killed for it, dog. It's crazy.